else wants to try? Okay. Tesham, out of them, Jnani, one in full knowledge, Nitya Yukta, always engaged, Eka, only, Bhakti, in devotional service, Vishishyate, is special, Priya, very dear, He, certainly, Jnanina, to the person in knowledge, Atyartam, highly, Aham, I am, Saha, he, Cha, also, Mama, to me, Priyaha, dear. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Of this, one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him, and he is dear to me. Purport. Free from all contaminations of material desires, the distressed, the inquisitive, the penniless, and the seeker after supreme knowledge can all become pure devotees. But out of them, he who is in knowledge of the absolute truth and free from all material desires becomes a really pure devotee of the Lord. And of the four orders, the devotee who is in full knowledge and is at the same time engaged in devotional service is, the Lord says, the best. By searching after knowledge, one realizes that his self is different from the material body. And when further advanced, he comes to the knowledge of impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. When he is fully purified, he realizes that his constitutional position is to be eternal servant of God. So, by association with pure devotees, the inquisitive, the distressed, the seeker after material amelioration, and the man in knowledge all become themselves pure. But in the purgatory stage, the man who is in full knowledge of the Supreme Lord and is at the same time executing devotional service is very dear to the Lord. He who is situated in pure knowledge of the transcendence of the Supreme Personality of God is so protected in devotional service that material contamination cannot touch him. Again the verse, Tesham Jnani Nitya Yukta Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate Priyo Hi Jnanino Tyartam Aham Sacha Mama Priyaha. Of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. Umagyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Kadamba Kanasvaniti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So here we are exactly in the middle of 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Someone is remembering what is the title of this chapter?
Knowledge of the Absolute.
Very good. Knowledge of the Absolute, yes. So in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was discussing with Arjuna, of course, many topics, the difference between spirit and matter, how we are spiritual beings, not material bodies, and he was describing the different ways to make spiritual advancement, or the different kinds of yogas. So he would describe karma yoga, meaning working without attachment to the result of your work. He was describing also jnana yoga, trying to read the scriptures, spiritual texts, and trying to understand what is the difference between matter and spirit, and how to realize that actually we are not matter but rather spirit. And then Krishna described dhyana yoga or ashtanga yoga, the mystic yoga system, how through different material regulations of the body and of the mind, gradually you can achieve samadhi, or you can become established in the transcendence. And after describing all of these different spiritual paths, at the end of these 6 chapters, Krishna said to Arjuna, from all these yogis, yoginam api sarvesham madgaten antar atmanaha, the one who is always thinking within his heart, who is always remembering me, Shraddhavan bhajate yomam, who has faith in me and who is worshipping me always, same yukta tamo mataha, he is the highest yogi. So from all these different kinds of spiritual, transcendental practitioners, Krishna is saying, Mataha, my personal opinion is the person who is always trying to remember me with faith and serve me with love and devotion, he is the greatest, he is the highest. And then, now in the beginning of the next 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna begins to give knowledge about himself. Pandava Prabhu was speaking a little bit more about this the last time. And more or less it is explained that Krishna is giving knowledge who is he. Why? Because, as it was mentioned in this purport, with our own endeavor we can reach some level in spiritual advancement, but not more than that. And what is this level that we can reach with our own endeavors? We can understand that we are not matter, we are spirit, we are Brahman, and we can understand that there is Supreme Brahman. The way how there is soul in our body, and this soul is maintaining the life in this body, in the same way there is the Supreme Soul, the soul of the universe, and this soul is maintaining the life of the whole universe. So this we can understand with the help of intelligence, with the help of reading books, but more than this we cannot. More than this we cannot understand. And that's why now, in order to understand more than this, Krishna has to describe himself. In other words, God has to give knowledge who is he. Otherwise, without his help, we cannot understand more than this. We cannot understand Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna is giving knowledge in the beginning of 7 chapter. He is explaining that there are material energies, and apart from the material energies like earth, water, air, fire, ether, and the subtle material energies, mind, intelligence, and ego, there is the spirit soul. These are the living entities. They are trying to exploit the material energies. And then above both material energies and the spiritual souls is the Supreme Lord. And he is Mata Parataram Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. He is saying, I am above everyone and nobody is equal to me. That's why Krishna has a special name, Asama Urdhva. Asama urdhva. It means nobody is equal to him and nobody is greater than him. He is the top, he is the best. And Krishna is saying it himself, for him. Mata parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Nobody is equal to me. I am the supreme truth. Everything in this universe rests on me. I am maintaining everything in this universe. And then, just to give few examples, Krishna is saying, okay, Arjuna, I am the taste of the water. Rasuham apsu kaunteya, prabhasmi shashi surayo. I am the light of the sun and the moon. Shabdake, I am the sound in the ether. Paurusham drisho, I am the talent in the people. And like that, Krishna is describing his opulences, his manifestations, how he is present everywhere. And after doing this, there is a question. What is the question? Well, if you are everywhere, then why people they cannot see that actually you are the cause of all causes? Like if you go now on the street and start stopping people and asking the people, so what is the cause of all causes? Like, what do you think is the supreme cause in this world? Some people, they will say, yeah, there is God and He is the controller and we are under His control and we have to serve Him. But many people, they will say, no, there is nothing like that. Oh, these are some like stupid things. Someone just manufactured all this just to brainwash the people so that in this way it's easier to manipulate them and so on and so on. So there will be so many people that they won't accept God. So why is that? Krishna is answering, because of the influence of the three modes of material nature. These energies of mind, they act in such a way under the consciousness of the people that they become completely illusion, completely under my control. And then Krishna is saying, Daivihe shagunamai mamamaya duratyaya. These energies of mind, they are very difficult to overcome. Practically no one can overcome them. It doesn't matter how powerful you are, how strong you are, how intelligent you are. Once you are under the influence of these three modes, you are finished. You are in illusion, in Maya, as we say. And then Krishna is saying, what is the only way to overcome this influence, this illusion? The only way is, Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam taramtite. If someone surrenders unto me, then I can remove this influence of my energy, because she is acting under my control. Only then he can see the reality. Only then he can see the truth. And after explaining all this, Krishna proceeds and explains that in this world, always there will be two groups of people. So some people, after hearing that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, they will say, yes, I accept this and I will surrender. Mm-hmm. And there will be other people, they will say, forget about it. I will never surrender. It doesn't matter what. Even if I have to suffer, even if I have to go through so many problems in life, I would never surrender to someone else. I will be God. I will be the master. What was this verse? Ishvaroham aham bhogi sidoham balavan sukhi. I'll be the great master. I'll be the great enjoyer. I am strong and I am perfect. And I will be happy in this way. This is the Siddhanta, the conclusion of those who don't want to believe in Krishna, who don't want to accept Krishna. So like that, first the four groups of unbelievers were described, and in the next verse, 7:16, the four people who are ready to surrender to God described. And Srila Prabhupada was explaining in the purport, those four groups, those are not pure devotees. But they are very pious people and they are ready to come and serve God under certain conditions. Like for example, oh my dear Lord, if you help me and remove all the suffering in my life, I'm ready to serve you. Or, oh my Lord, I want to be very rich. If you give me money, then I'm ready to serve you. Oh my Lord, I am studying now. If you help me to take my exams, I'm ready to serve you. So they go and they approach God and they are ready to do some service, but it's not unconditional. Rather, they want something in return. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, when their desires are fulfilled, many of those people, they will continue serving God because they are pious souls out of gratitude. But some of them, they will disappear. They will come, they will do service. Once they get what they want, they will disappear. Till the next time that they need something. Then they will come again and they will pray again to God. Like, have you seen so many people, they don't go regularly to church or to the mosque or to the temple, but they will go only when they have something to ask from God.
Yes.
So when is the time to go to the church or to the mosque, to the temple? When I need some help. Only then. If everything is fine, I don't go to the church. When I'm sick, I go to doctor. If I'm healthy, why I have to go to the doctor? That's the logic. Yes? But actually, in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada is explaining very nicely this. He says that at some point Arjuna, he is approaching Krishna with the name Govinda. And Arjuna is saying to Krishna, my dear Krishna, why you are asking me to take part in this war? I thought you want to see me happy. Now if I take part in this war, this will bring unhappiness to me, to other people. So I thought you are Govinda, you are bringing happiness to the senses. So why you are not bringing happiness to my senses? But Srila Prabhupada is explaining, wait a minute, actually Krishna is not meant to bring happiness to our senses. We are servants of Krishna and we have to bring happiness to the senses of Krishna. The moment when the senses of Krishna are satisfied, automatically our senses will become happy, we will become happy. And the example is given, if you give food to the stomach, automatically the whole body gets energy. So the stomach is Krishna. If we give worship to Krishna, automatically we will become energized, we will become happy and satisfied. So like that, most people, they want to worship the Lord only to get something from Him. And the moment they get what they want, they leave. They don't want really relationships with God. One spiritual master is calling this pigeon religion. Why pigeon religion? Because if you go now on the street and you have some food with you, a little bit bread, the moment you start throwing it on the ground, the pigeons will come immediately and they want to take the bread. But if you try to have relationships with them, if you try to go close to them and take them and whatever, be kind to them, they will immediately go away. So they want the food that you are giving, but they don't want you, actually. They don't want relationship. So like that, very often people, they approach God with this understanding of getting something from God, whatever material necessities we need, but at the same time, I don't want to have any relationship with you. Okay, this with the relationship is too, I feel too much obligation and I don't want this. I want to be free spirit. Whenever I need, I come and I pray and you give me what I need and then I go. Okay? That's it. But actually God, He wants something more than this. He wants more deeper relationships. And that's why in the today's verse, Krishna is explaining from all these four groups of people that are approaching God, so some of them are approaching Him to get relief from suffering. Then the second group are those who are asking for wealth, good material facilities. The third group are those people who are just inquisitive. They don't suffer so much. They have kind of good amount of opportunities in life. But they are just curious. They want to go to different places, see different people, learn something new, interesting. That's their position. And because of that, yeah, today they will go to some workshop, tomorrow they will go to a church, next day they will go to the mosque. So it's just one of the opportunities. Let me just go find people and experience, explore their lifestyle, their way of thinking. I can learn something from everybody. But it's not necessary that there is difference between all these places where they can go. Today they go to some material place, tomorrow to some spiritual. It's kind of all the same. I can learn something from anybody and everybody. And then the fourth group are the Gyanis. These are people, they are in a sense fed up with material opportunities in life. They just want to understand what is the real goal of life. Why we are here. Okay, if we come here, that means there is a purpose of our existence. And okay, there is a suffering. Okay, so that means the suffering also has a purpose. So what is the goal of life? Why are we here? This is where the spiritual life actually becomes very substantial, very serious. So there is one very, very famous spiritual book, Brahma Sutra or Vedanta Sutra. Have you heard? You're from India, you should know. Have you heard about Vedanta Sutra? No. Just see, okay, today you'll learn something new. So they say this is the greatest philosophy book of all times. There is no greater book than this one, Vedanta Sutra. And in the beginning of Vedanta Sutra, the first wise saying in the book is Atato Brahma Jigyasa. And it means now that we are here in this life, and now that we got this human form of life, which gives us opportunities to understand very subtle things because we have developed intelligence, now is the time to ask, what is the goal of life? Why are we here? Why we are suffering? So this is actually the beginning of serious spiritual life. Yes, before that many people, they approach spirituality, but actually their spirituality is very much mixed with material motivation. So it's kind of spiritual, but it's also very much material. Now, from this point onwards, spiritual life becomes more serious. Why? Because we try to understand what is the real goal of our existence, of our life. And such a person, after looking for the real knowledge, at some point he may come to the conclusion that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that Lord Krishna Vasudeva, he is the goal of life. And we have to worship him. Bahunam janmanamante gyanavan mam prapadyante. Such a person, he may decide to surrender to the Lord. Why? Because he understands this is the real goal of life, to serve God. I'm eternal spiritual part, and I'm actually part and parcel from the Supreme Spirit. Who is the Supreme Spirit? Vasudeva Krishna. And my existence is fulfilled when I'm trying to do my duty with love and devotion for the Supreme Spirit. Like a small part of a great machine, big machine. If you put this small part on an exactly particular spot, the function of this small part is fulfilled. There is no higher function than this. So in the same way, we can be very, very small living entities, tiny spiritual living entities. But the moment we start serving God, in whatever capacity we have, this is the perfection of our life. Someone may come and may just clean the floor of the temple of the Lord. This is the perfection of his life. And Bhagavad Gita is saying, Neha vikrama nashasti pratyavayon navidyate. If you do little bit devotional service for the Supreme Lord, nobody can take this benefit from you. It's your eternal spiritual credit. So if you one time you come and you hear something about the Lord, about Krishna, if you do something very, very little, it's your eternal spiritual benefit. Srila Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON, he would give 3 times in a week classes here in this place. This is how the Hare Krishna movement started. And sometimes weird people will come through the door. And they would listen, or they would just sit down, or they would just start sleeping while Prabhupada is giving class. But Srila Prabhupada, he was okay with this. Why? Because he knew, even if he hears something little bit, it's his eternal credit. One time some person came through the door, he came to Prabhupada, and he gave him, what?
Tissue.
A toilet paper. Prabhupada, this for you. And Srila Prabhupada took it, and the man left. And Srila Prabhupada was very happy. He said, okay, this is how his spiritual life begins. He gave something for Krishna. He gave something for Krishna. There is a nice story. There was a sadhu, saintly person, and he was walking door to door, and he was begging, as traditionally the sadhus do in India.
Mm-hmm.
You know this? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's common to see, yes? Sadhus, they go to the houses of family people and they ask for some charity, something to eat. And this man, he was walking from door to door. He came to the house of one lady, knocked on the door, and the lady came, but she was not in a very good mood. So basically she was a little bit angry from whatever reason. And she opened and she saw this sadhu and she was like, oh, enough. But she said, okay, you want charity? I'll give you charity. And she went to the fireplace and she took some ashes and went to the sadhu and gave him this in the hand and said, you want charity? This is your charity. And then the sadhu, he looked at her and he said, give me ashes, but let your charity begin. So he took it in this way. He took it that actually she's giving something to a sadhu. Okay, it can be something very insignificant, no problem. I wash my hands with this. You know, in India sometimes they wash their hands or their plates with ashes. Have you seen this? No? In Mayapur, in Brahmachari kitchen, even nowadays, they are using ashes to clean their plates and their hands sometimes.
Just ashes mixed with something?
Just ashes. But I guess you can mix with something, but it's one Shastras, they are saying it's one way to take bath with ashes or with earth. You can just put in your body and then put water on the top.
Beneficial?
Looks like. In our country with Pandava, there is something which is very, very famous. I don't know if people are doing it here.
Chocolate?
Baths with mud. You go to a special places where there are mineral waters, and on the bank of the mineral lakes or whatever, they say this mud is actually very rich on minerals.
Mm.
So people, they go there and take this mud and they put it all over their body and they stay like that for whatever, half an hour, 1 hour. So they look very interesting. Everything mud. But yeah, it's considered very beneficial for the body. So anyway, the point is, if we do something little bit for Krishna, just a little bit, there is a great benefit. There is a very famous verse from Narada Muni from Srimad Bhagavatam. Tyaktva svadarmam charanam bhujam harer bhajan apakvo tapatet tato yadi yatra kvava bhadrama bhutamushakim kova artam bhajatam svadarmataha. Kova arta aptum bhajatam svadarmataha. So he's saying if someone begins his spiritual life, he gives up everything else. He gives up everything else and completely surrenders to spirituality, to spiritual life. But then, after a while, because of immaturity, falls down from the spiritual path. So let's say you become very enthusiastic and you say, yeah, this is the most important thing. I don't want to do anything else. You go to your boss next day and you leave job and you don't care about where you're living, you don't care about anything. I want to surrender completely, and you surrender completely and you only think about Krishna. You spend, 22 hours in the New York subway making Harinam. But then at some point you realize, oh, that was a little bit premature. I cannot keep up with this. It's too high standard for me. and then you fall down from your spiritual practice. Narada Muni, he is the speaker of this verse, he is saying, so where is the use? Where is the use? Where is the loss? Excuse me. You try to surrender completely and you couldn't, no problem, it doesn't matter. Very, very soon you have another opportunity. And then he is saying, Kova artha aptum. What is the benefit if someone is perfect in the fulfillment of his material duties? Like, let's say you are very successful in whatever you're doing materially. You are artist, or you are musician, or you are IT specialist, and you're doing your job perfectly, and you are the best. You're the best, and you have so much money, and you have so much influence, and they are inviting you everywhere, and you are explaining to others, you are guru to others, teaching them. But then at the end of the life, what is the use? You cannot take any of those things with you. Neither you take the glory, neither you take the money that you made. You had lots of time, and this time was yours. You could use it the way how you wanted, but you decided to use it in this way. And now all the gain you get for this time, it will be taken away from you, and you cannot do anything about it. You cannot do anything. So Narada Muni is saying, where is the use? What is the use? What is the benefit from this? There is a story with Alexander the Great when he was about to die, and he said, I want you to bury me with my hands outside of the grave, like that, widely open. And they said, what is this? Why is that? And he said, I want everybody to see, I want everybody to know. This is Alexander the Great. He conquered the whole world. But now that he is dead, he cannot take anything with himself, even one coin. Everything will stay here. That's it. So like that, if we do something little bit for Krishna, this is our...
2 coins he will take.
2 coins they will put on his eyes, yes. To pay to the bold man who will bring him on the other side of the Vaitarani river. The river which is between the material and the spiritual world. So Krishna is saying in this verse, a jnani, he is very, very dear to me. Why? Because he doesn't have any more material concept of life. He is not coming to me to ask something materially. He understands he is not this body. So that's why he doesn't want anything material from me. He just wants to know. He wants to know the truth. And when such a person who understands the truth, who understands Krishna, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, begins to render service to Krishna with this mentality, Krishna is saying, oh, such a person is very, very dear to me. Priyo hi jnanino otyartam. Such a jnani, such a learned person is very, very dear to me. Aham sa cha mama priyaha. And I'm also very, very dear to him because he has very deep spiritual understandings. Why he is so dear to me? Eka bhaktir. Because he is completely fixed in bhakti, in devotional service. In his mind there is only one thing. Spiritual advancement and nothing else. So in the book Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there is description of different levels of devotees. So we are learning from Bhagavad Gita, one level of devotee is someone who goes to God and asks for something material in return of his service. This is one level. This person is not a pure devotee, but he is a devotee. He approaches God for something. Then the next level is this person, a jnana bhakta. He can be also very, very, very advanced. But his devotion can be mixed with some mixture of impersonal knowledge, or still maybe something little bit he may want in return to his service. Or sometimes his motivation can be completely pure, but he is not very eager to be actively engaged in devotional service. Like he may stay the whole day and think about God and think about Krishna and think about the qualities of Krishna. But he won't go to the temple of Krishna and wash the floor of Krishna or wash the plates of Krishna. Somehow he is not still on this level. So some acharyas are saying this is within the realm of pure devotion. Some are saying no, this is still not a pure devotion. So this is a jnana bhakta. Then one level above. So we have in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, we have some examples of jnana bhaktas who are very, very elevated actually. Like it is explained there that Bharat Maharaj, he was on the level of jnana bhakta. Or the 4 Kumaras also. Yes?
The same Kumars?
The 4 Kumaras,
yeah,
the
yeah.
4 sons of Brahma.
Oh, I heard about it.
Before they become pure devotees of the Lord.
Mm.
And then one level higher is someone who is a pure devotee, completely pure devotee. And the example that is given in Brihad Bhagavatamrita is Ambarisha Maharaj. Ambarisha Maharaj, he was completely dedicated to the Lord. Anything he would do, everything he has, he was a king, everything he had, it was completely offered in the service of the Lord. Then one level higher than this is someone who is Prema Bhakta. And the example given is Hanuman. Hanuman, he is not just a pure devotee, but he is like very high pure devotee, Prema Bhakta. Yes, Prema. And then onwards there are more and more levels of greater and greater devotees, like the Pandavas, and at the end we are reaching the gopis, the damsels of Vraja. They are not just pure devotees of the Lord, but in their consciousness there is nothing else than the Lord. It is explained in Nectar of Devotion that completely pure devotional service has 2 special qualities, and one is it is so potent, Sri Krishna Karshini, that it has the power to attract Krishna. So devotee is so much dedicated to Krishna that Krishna cannot resist to surrender himself to this devotee, because he understands anything that I can do for this devotee is not enough. Anything that I can do is not enough. I have to give myself to this devotee. Sri Krishna Karshini. And then the other quality which is related to the highest levels of prema is the devotee, he is so immersed in thoughts of Krishna and service of Krishna that he cannot even perceive anything else existing around him. And sometimes actually acharyas are saying that someone who is on a very, very high level, on this level, in spiritual life, externally he may look like a little bit strange person, a little bit crazy person. Why? Because material world as we perceive it doesn't exist for him anymore. His consciousness is completely immersed in the spiritual reality. And then interesting things can happen in his life. Like for example, one time Raghunath Das Goswami, he got very sick in Vrindavan, and the doctor came, they call for a doctor, and the doctor examined his situation through the pulse, Ayurvedic doctors, and said, oh, he overate very seriously with milk and dairy products, that's why he's sick. And everyone around was looking, he said, what do you mean? Like, it is known that Raghunath Das Goswami, he is not eating. He's like every 2-3 days he's drinking like a cup of buttermilk. He's not eating. What do you mean like he's overeating with dairy products? And then Raghunath Das Goswami said, no, the doctor, he's right. Actually, in my spiritual body, in my meditation, I was in the spiritual world, and there was a great feast with Krishna and the cowboys, and I overate with sweet rice. So it looks like the symptoms are coming on my material body. So those great personalities, they are completely immersed in the spiritual platform. So anyway, we are not on this platform, but what we can do practically to advance is that we can try to serve Krishna actively come regularly to the place of Krishna, to the temple of Krishna, and do some active service. Ask for a service. Just come and say, hey, I want to do something. Give me service. I want to advance spiritually. And the more we do service to Krishna, the more we will advance. And the more we do service with purer and purer motivation, the easier it will be for us to advance. And one day, Krishna will be so indebted for all the service that we did that he will has to reciprocate with us. As in this verse, Krishna is saying, I am very dear to such a jnani, but he is also very, very dear to me. So it's a question of relationship. No pigeon religion. A real religion. Sanatana Dharma. Hare Krishna, thank you very much for your attention.